Ranked is orchestrated gameplay. I don't know if you know that, but they like the jungler chooses who he doesn't want to gank so that he can have the best laning phase possible. That's really all it is, you know. And like, because look at this, I'm being chased by 4 goons. Why do you think that is? Because I have 8 million points on Darius. They are afraid of what I would do if I was just left alone and no one does absolutely anything about it, right? It's all orchestrated gameplay. Whilst Corki and Malzahar, they get to play freely. They can do whatever they want, but I have to min-max like crazy just so that I can survive. How the hell does that make any sense? YouTube, welcome back. Welcome back to Master Tier in solo queue. I'm gonna need to get into Flex U as well. Then we have double Master Tier status. It's like having the 2 belts, you know, like Roman Reigns does when he had the titles. He had the both titles and he was just flexing it all over the place. It looks really cool and I like that, which is why I'm kind of trying to do the same thing. Although actually purchasing a physical second belt, I'm not too sure though, because my bank account doesn't look too healthy to pull a maneuver like that off. However, when it's more healthy, we can actually entertain that idea. So it's something for the future. But what about the present? What we're going to do now is the question. And my thing is just trying to get this master and Flex U as well, then juggle both of them. But why are we here? Why? Because that's good news. But what's this video about? It's about the series. It took me a while to figure out what the name is, but it's going to be called the Game Deciding Brawls. I don't need to explain it a second time, but to give a brief summary, we're going to go over important plays that I think were game deciding, and we're going to react to it. That will be the entertainment part, and like I said before, there's going to be a little bit of like on the back end, some educational, trying to review, see what was good, what was bad, just so that I can keep my senses sharp and keep that master. Don't you get it? I'm doing that educational part so that I retain master tier. I have to keep the tiles. I'm not dropping it. I'm keeping it and I'm staying on this hill. This mountain is mine and I'm not leaving it. All right, that's the whole point. So with that being said, let's go into the first match. All right, we jumped into the first play of the video. For the context, we're playing against Trundle, who has Ignite. We're playing against a fighter, so I expect some, 1v1 brawls. So let's see. I tried to, push the wave in, but the problem is that even though he is a fighter, even though he does have Ignite, he is going to rely on the jungler to gank him. Now, he did well in terms of actually putting me down because he, relied on the jungle gank, and that was pretty much what happened. Why am I showing you this? This looked like a very simple 1v2. He stat checked you and there's nothing you could do about it. Why are we seeing this? Well, there's a big misplay coming from me, if we're not mistaken, and that is I didn't understand that ranked is orchestrated gameplay. Because Jace could dedicate himself and choose to put all of those resources and time of actually ganking instead of towards Trundle, the fighter. He could have done it for the mage mid laner, the one that needed help, or the Victor, who's also a mage who needed the assistance, right? He could have done that, but you have to understand from his perspective. He just wants to see other people do well, but me having a very horrible laning phase. And I'm not even saying that as as a pessimist or anything like that. No, it's like these things happen over and over again. Ain't it time that I just pay attention to the patterns? That's the thing. Maybe it's time. As for actually thinking about it, I think, I'm not gonna lie to you, especially if I'm not getting a gank to assist to get assistance or anything like that, it might be time to understand that death is just inevitable. There's nothing you can do. Sometimes you're just gonna get camped and you're just gonna die. There's nothing you can do. You can keep buying resistances and all of that kind of stuff, but they're putting all of their resources to put you down. This isn't even a 1v1 lane anymore. it's time to understand that kind of thing. So even though it does sound like memey, it sounds like oh, this guy's mental is cooked or anything like that. I think it's like kind of good for you to like understand when it's time to hang up the cape, to lace the boots away and stuff like that. That's just the way I'm thinking, and I think that's what happened in this situation right there. So with that being said, let's go to the next game. Okay, second game, we jumped in. We have awkward runes. We actually have phase rush into Renekton. Not the best of things, but there's a reason why this happened. It was because I was tilted from the last match, and I was thinking, you know what? I need to have this and a resolve tree so that I can escape from champions and stuff like that. But this is just me completely misunderstanding that death is inevitable. Sometimes it just happens, and there's not really much you can do about it. And in the end, I pay the price for it. Why do you have phase rush into Renekton? That's not going to help you from someone who's ganking you. Because this time it wasn't even a gank. It was a mid lane roam. So there's that took place, And so what do I think of that? Again, ranked is orchestrated gameplay. They could do this to the Lucian, but they don't. They want to see Lucian succeed. They want to see because he doesn't have any like resources, no mana, no HP. The Alistar isn't even there. However, they chose to do it to me because well, like I said, ranked orchestrated gameplay. But in terms of like the improving and stuff like that, definitely need to lay off the hopium of you guys can't see it, but I have phase rush, which isn't the right call, and it's the overgrowth with second wind. Definitely not the maneuver there. So we can see that we shouldn't have been going this route to begin with. The rest of the game is just horrible. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, we're in the third game and we're playing against Jax. I don't know if it's because I'm playing against one of the more, active fighters, but this one, he actually chose to fight normally in lane, and he ended up losing to me. That is true. However, this actually opens up an opportunity for me to somewhat perform, because now we can see I did something to the enemy team. That's for sure. That's something you can guarantee. And I was definitely in the fields for this after being on the matches in the matches prior to this, which weren't going so well. So there's that. But in terms of improvement, what looked pretty bad or good there? I mean, I could have waited for the counter strike to go off, but I didn't think too far ahead in terms of that kind of stuff. So there was that bad for me. But I did end up getting the double kill one way or the other. So that did. It just didn't look as good as I wanted it to. It would have really fit the picture frame a lot better if I did get the reset. And the last play of the video, we are playing against Zach. We did well up against him as well. I got, when I recalibrate, I feel a little bit more normal and stuff like that. So we ended up killing him. He doesn't have passive. We dealt it prior to that type of thing. And we have to deal with a Kog'Maw who's all the way that type of distance. I can't really do anything until I actually get some assistance coming from my team, and that's where we get the double kill, and we finish off with a nice cleaning up of the triple kill. Now, this definitely looked like the best of the bunch, of course. I believe I was a little bit too, patient, I'd say, because I definitely did need to, be a bit more confident and actually go into... Yeah, it sounds a bit weird, but jump into damage a little bit more, because that's where you can actually deal damage as well. Also, the last thing I would like to talk about is definitely my build. After doing this, understanding that I don't even have Demolish, I can't even make the max use of it, I think maybe in a sense like this, maybe Hullbreaker is definitely not the right call. So I probably should have just gone like... my trusted blood mail. That definitely, because I would have done more damage too. The more AD you have is a lot better. But yeah, I did like that fight there, right there. It looked really good. So that's gonna be for today. I understand there's something I do also understand as well. It's like none of these plays were like extravagant, like a crazy good, montage worthy play. I understand, but that's not my normal match, you know? You have to understand, like I'm gonna continuously say, ranked is orchestrated gameplay. I don't know if you know that, but they, like, the jungler chooses who he doesn't want to gank so that he can have the best laning phase possible. That's really all it is, you know. And like, because look at this, I'm being chased by 4 goons. Why do you think that is? Because I have 8 million points on Darius. They are afraid of what I would do if I was just left alone and no one does absolutely anything about it, right? It's all orchestrated gameplay. Whilst Corki and Malzahar, they get to play freely. They can do whatever they want, but I have to min-max like crazy just so that I can survive. How the hell does that make any sense? Whilst the other Darksmans get to live and do whatever the hell they want. They don't even have to deal with a jungle gang. How does that make sense? That doesn't make sense to me. But hey, I don't make the rules. I'm just a messenger. So with that being said, we're gonna see what we can do in the next video. Hopefully it's a little bit better, but we should be getting back to Master and Flex U as well. And in terms of the organization, I believe this video should be a lot better the next video as well. So it's a process, but I kind of like this process. So with that being said, thank you for tuning into today's video. Do the YouTube usuals, like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. Anyways, that's it from me. All my links are down in the description below. Have a nice rest of your day, and peace. Light.